Hi, David. How are you? Sorry about that.
Oh, hi. Sorry. Okay, yeah, I was already talking.
That was my bad. I gave you a false start. That was me. Sorry.
Okay, that's okay. First, I just wanted to say I was kind of nervous because I never called a talk show before. So just bear with me.
We're pretty nice to people. We're not that bad.
Okay. And well, just that. I'm the type where I feel like I lean towards spirituality, I guess, but I'm not really hard-nosed about it. There are times where I've been atheistic in the sense that just a belief in God or anything spiritual would like kind of confuse me, and it would kind of get in the way of just kind of practical things I have to be doing in the present moment. So I had to kind of put it aside basically and not really think about it, but I never really came to a conclusion, oh, therefore it's not real. It's just that I had to put it aside. But as far as near-death experiences go, because I have never had any of the experiences that are claimed people who have had them, like I couldn't say if, they're real or not. But it seems like, just because I haven't had that experience of it, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And I don't like discount another person's testimony of it. And as far as testimonies go, it's kind of an interesting thing because me being inclined towards spiritual stuff, even though I don't always like to think about it too much. I've always like on the internet, on YouTube, they have a bunch of videos on just all sorts of stuff. I remember coming across videos that would come up about near-death experiences. I never once even considered clicking on it because I never thought it would be legitimate or like this is how I could trust this person in any way. It's just someone talking. I ended up clicking on one video of a man describing his near-death experience, and he was coming from an atheist background. He did not believe in God, and he had a near-death experience. And to me, it seemed realistic the way he was describing it and the way just like, say if you're reading someone, and I could be wrong, I'm not saying that, but he just seemed very honest to me. And I guess, he ended up being on this YouTube channel, not because he wanted to be, he wasn't like promoting himself or anything like that. It was his wife who reached out to this YouTube channel that documents near-death experiences and stuff. And it kind of opened my eyes because the way he was talking about it, there was like so much detail and he looked so animated in a very realistic way that it made me kind of think, oh, wow, maybe these are real. And then I've seen other near-death experience accounts that I don't believe they were being honest. I think they were embellishing it or saying it for other reasons. But that's pretty much all I wanted to say. I just noticed that I think kind of issues between people who have different beliefs is that when people start making claims of like what other people should believe in, I think that's kind of common for like Christians, people who identify as Christians. It's like they're kind of notorious for putting their own beliefs onto other people. And that's, I think, the real issue. So that's kind of how I see just any sort of belief, or that when people start saying, oh, this is kind of a universal claim of how things are, and then it could cause people to get aggravated in some way or another. But yeah, and even, so I hope that I haven't said anything inappropriate.
No, not at all. You were great. Yeah, no need. You were great. You can calm down, not be nervous, because you were freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I agree with you. I think that a lot of it is, I have actually heard of atheists having these near-death experiences before too, as well. But I still have to wonder: is it just the wild imaginings of a dying mind that's lacking oxygen? So, and I'm sure that these experiences do seem very real. I have had hallucinations myself that seemed very, very, very real, but I can't prove that those things actually happened. As far as I know, they were just hallucinations. Now, if I didn't understand the background that was happening to me at the time. I didn't understand some of the science of what was happening to me at the time. I might have thought that these hallucinations were in fact physically real and not just a mental manifestation. So I could totally understand that. I don't have a problem disagreeing with that at all. Jimmy?
I think there's also another aspect that we should take into consideration, and that's not just the hallucinations caused by hypoxia, but what about the brain clinging to its survival instincts? I think a lot of afterlife accounts are created because humans have this need to continue on. And, I've heard different hypotheses about the brain just creating a space that you will go to upon death, or at least where you think you're currently going, whether or not you're dying. And so I wonder, is there some kind of innate response that the body will kind of have a knee-jerk reaction to enact in cases where the body is starting to shut down or the brain's starting to shut down? And I think that these kind of biological explanations are worth more investigation instead of resting our case on, well, it could be true. Because like Kelly said earlier in the call, a lot of these near-death experiences have to do with what the person believed throughout their life, and to the point we were making, how often do you see Christians having a near-death experience where they're getting 72 virgins or vice versa, and so I think that's really important. But anyway, yeah, I thought you were great. Thank you, David. I mean, no reason to be nervous at all, and good job.
Yeah, awesome. So what else was?
Yeah.
What do you think of what Jimmy said or I said?
No, just that. I mean, you're saying about how considering all other scenarios that could be happening during a near-death experience, other than what the person that's experiencing it is claiming, but I think it's also worth, taking, considering what they're saying as well too, and not just dismissing it. Not just automatically dismissing it. I mean, even if it's...
I don't know that it would be automatic, though. I don't know that it would be automatic. I think what would be automatic is an investigation, right? Like, I think asking questions should be automatic, right? Because what if somebody was telling you something and that thing they were telling you involved you being slighted in some way and them gaining something out of you, right? Then that loses legitimacy. Or do you not investigate that and just trust them? Because that does happen. What about, people who say, hey, I'm the only person in this group of people that can sleep with the females because I am the, who did that? David Koresh, I think, in his little cult, right? He was the second coming of Jesus, or a prophet in some way, and he was the only person that could mate with all the females, especially, and even the youth, even the younger girls. If he had a vision, right? If somebody had a vision and told you that, do you just accept it, or do you investigate it? And then where do we draw the line about what's acceptable and what's not?
I understand. No, I understand what you're saying. Like, if people are using claims of a spiritual nature to manipulate people. But then, it doesn't mean that everyone does do that either. But yeah, no, you made good points. I kind of didn't want to. I'm also thinking I shouldn't take too much time on the call because you probably have other callers. But I'm surprised it wasn't. I thought I'd be so nervous I couldn't even talk or something. But anyway.
No, you were great. I really appreciated your call, actually.
Yeah, but it's something to discuss. I think the most important thing is, because one thing I've noticed is with the chats, when I see the chats, it can get very a little kind of aggressive, and I don't on either side of whoever believes whatever. And I just think it's really important for people to avoid that. And I know it can be easy for something to turn into that, but I think that's more important than really anything else.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think unfortunately, I think people are able to hide behind that anonymity of the internet, and they say and do things that they normally wouldn't, and they get often too aggressive.
Yeah.
And then, like if we were talking to each other eye to eye, we wouldn't get that aggressive with each other. I think you're right, and I think it doesn't aid the conversation for sure, right?
Yeah. That's true. I didn't even consider that. You're just saying that basically the anonymity of being on the internet creates almost like almost makes me think you're saying it's almost like there's miscommunication. It's like easy for miscommunication or something or something. Like,
Yeah, right. Yeah, or it's just it's easier to be braver when nobody knows who you are. Do you know what I mean? It's easier to say things you wouldn't know. Yeah. Like if a lot of the times when you get these two aggressive people in a text chat, if they were actually sitting at a table across from each other, looking each other in the eye, they wouldn't say the things that they were saying. They would be much nicer to each other.
Yeah,
you know what I think?
Yeah, I think you're.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but just on that note, you know what's funny is that the people in the chat who we're constantly saying like, hey, give us a call because they're trying to make points and they're trying to argue their case in the chat. You can still be anonymous by calling. You don't have to use your name. You don't have to tell us where you're from. You can tell the call screener, don't mention what city I'm from. You know what I mean? Like you can still be anonymous and call. You don't have to lurk in the chat and bust people's chops.
It's a little bit harder, I think, to do a call though, because you're not looking the person in the eye, but you're actually having that conversation. So I think, and I think that's why people get nervous when they call, as David has. But David, I'm seriously, there's no need for you to be nervous at all. You're great. I've really been enjoying chatting with you.
And I think another part of my nervousness too is that being kind of a little bit more inclined towards spirituality, I feel like I don't want to be the target of anything like.
I think that's a common misconception, and I think we've seen it from two of our callers already, that they automatically jump to the point, well, you guys don't believe in NDEs. You don't believe that these are real. Now, Jimmy and I never said that. What we did say is that we'd like to see more evidence to prove that they are real before we're going to fully believe in them. But I don't think they're fake or false. I think that the possibility that they are really real, that the experience is more than just a mental manifestation is there. I just haven't seen any evidence, or better yet, proof that happens.
Well, one thing I do think is helpful about atheism too is that I think it can be grounding. Because I think spirituality, if taken to an extreme, can make people make bad decisions, whether it's spirituality or religion. They can be manipulated by people like you mentioned, or even if you're not religious per se, but you're just, people say they're spiritual. They can believe in things that may also just kind of confuse them and not kind of think pragmatically about stuff too. So I think atheism can be good.
Guy, why was this guy so nervous calling us when he's so awesome, right?
And then he tried to get off the phone early and then kept asking questions. David, I have a question for you. What does it mean to be spiritual?
Well, I think I wouldn't even know how to use the exact words. It's just that there's more to reality than I can sense with my senses. Like there's just more to it than just atoms in a void, basically. That's what I mean. It's like there, and that'd be the best way I would describe it. But I had to think about that. I had to think about like, what does it mean to be spiritual? Because I've heard people say that. Like,
why do you feel that there's more than just atoms in a void? And I'm not saying that's all there is. But I'm just asking, how'd you arrive there?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like it just feels like more accurate to me, or it makes me feel like I feel like it gives me more of some kind of like a purpose or something. But I still think it's kind of a difference between people, because that doesn't mean other people have to feel that way too. Like say if anyone doesn't want to believe in anything other, than like atoms, and there's nothing more than that. And that gives them, they feel like they're more comfortable with that. I think that's fine as well. But I just, for me, I kind of naturally believe that there's more than that.
Were you raised religious?
I definitely don't. I was, well, actually, I don't know. I mean, my mom is not. My dad, he, I guess, kind of is. And he sort of like maybe influenced me, but I wasn't really from a very strong religious background.
Well, that's why you don't have a strong religious background now. You just have a slightly influenced one. I'm just curious. I like to figure out how people got their beliefs. I think that a lot of the things that we're taught by our parents or not taught influences the way that we think. And I think that when people step away from religion, they have a tendency to go to spirituality first because of how they were ingrained to believe in something more than just this, whatever just this means. I think it's worth some consideration. That's all.
Yeah.
All right. David, I really appreciated your call. I do have to move on though. I still got two more calls to go and not enough show left, unfortunately. But man, you were awesome. I don't feel nervous. Please call us back. I'm going to be on again next week. I would love to have you call back and talk some more if you'd like to.
I don't know. I don't know if I should be revealing this, but Kelly asked me to call in.
You can reveal that. That's fine.
Cool. No, yeah, you can reveal that.
You
That's
still
cool.
called. That's great. And he's asking you to call again next week. And
yeah, we had a great conversation. So yeah, that's awesome. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Great. No problem. Bye.
Yeah. Take a good night, David. Thank you again. He was awesome.
Yeah.